All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Peter Weiler. I am your host this afternoon for the DVMUG January 20th, 2026 Zoom meeting. We will follow our usual format in which we'll explore some news from the Apple world in the beginning and then move on to some videos from recent times, mostly this past week, that will be of interest, Mac and Apple things. And then there will be a question and answer period. So if any of you have some concerns related to your Apple products, uh, you have a lot of power users here who can advise you. So let's get started. Um, Starting with this week's news. Here you see the topics that we'll be discussing. Um, this sheet is available, I believe, in the chat. Um, and you can click on links to actually see the full articles. I really encourage you to do that because I can only touch on highlights of them. But some of these articles have some useful information. So let's get started with the first. Apple calls on Google to help smarten up Siri and bring other AI features to the iPhone. And as you can see, there's a URL for this article. Actually, Apple's slipped up a bit in the AI field. Um, it's kind of getting a slow start. It is working hard to catch up. It's collaborating now with Google, and Google has AI technology. They're calling it Gemini for their AI technology, and uh, Apple is going to make use of this to um, do a little jump start on improving Siri and having uh, pretty much what OpenAI does with ChatGPT available. So this deal is going to be really great for Google because it solidifies its position and boosts its market value. At any rate, are there any comments or questions?
There's no download in the chat room.
Ah, um, John, could you help get those two documents into the
They're in there. I just put them in there 2 minutes ago, news and videos.
okay, keep checking. It might just be that it's a little slow to get
I put them in there at
itself there.
3:03, unless you came in the last 2 minutes. They're
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I haven't received them. They're not here, and I've been here for 10 minutes.
okay.
Not here either.
They're not in there.
Uh, they're not in there?
Well, I will go ahead and post the news list and the video list on the BBS for you DVMUG members after after we complete
Oh, wait, okay, hold
this.
on. They're not going to everybody for some reason. I don't understand. Just go on, continue.
Okay. Hopefully, they'll all be there for you very soon.
Why is it only going to?
So the next article, why iPhone users should update and restart their devices now. That's actually two things, update and restart. So the reason for this is that there is some very wicked mercenary spyware that's out on the web now, and it's attacking iPhones that aren't using iOS 26 and specifically iOS 26.2, which is what you should be updating to now. This is a priority because of the nature of this spyware. It's not something that you want to have to deal with. And in this note, it says the newer users should install iOS 26 Plus. What that means is iOS 26.2 right now and 26.3, 4, and 5 when Apple updates it. So that's why it's a plus that's showing there. Evidently, Apple users are resisting updating. Many of them aren't all that enamored with liquid glass and some of these other new features that Apple is pushing. Statistics are pretty startling. As of January, only 4.6 iPhone users are actively working with 26.2, iOS 26.2. And of all the iOS 26 Apple users, that's only 16% of those who have Apple phones. If you have a phone that's older than iPhone 11, you won't be able to install iOS 26. But any phone, iPhone 11 or newer, can and should be updated. Are there any comments or questions?
Yeah, that report was later found to be erroneous because the way they were reporting users was the version of Safari that was being used on the phone, and they changed how the versioning is on Safari, so they got bad statistics. So that number is way off. It's not that low.
Do you have any idea what the number is, John?
No, but they since retracted that and said, no, oops, that was a mistake.
Okay. I think we can all agree, though, update to iOS 26.2, avoid some pretty bad stuff out there.
Just raise his hand, Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, I trying to figure out why they want you to restart at the end. I thought when it updates, it restarts a few times.
Well, when you update, it does restart, and so the restart happens. But the restart has one of the things that happens when you restart is it empties caches that can hold malware that's being aimed at the Apple iOS.
Is,
So
is
that's
that what is that what NSA suggests to do? In other words, just restart to empty all that
right,
possibility? Okay,
right. There,
thank you.
you don't need to do it every hour, but they're recommending at least once a week.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. So, Apple AI research shows how MLLMs that understand, generate, and search for images, large language models we're talking about here. At any rate, in this article, let's see, this one was, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that sheet in front of me right now. At any rate, this one focused on two of the models that deal with large language, and they have weird names: Deep MM Search -R1 and Manzano, but the each does something slightly different. The Deep MM Search model um, allows the um, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing my full screen and what you're seeing, but it's being able to clip in your image and um, get the images smaller, and that's uh, its use. And the Manzano model, it is able to, as they say, unify image understanding and generation. So these tools are going to be rolling out in upgraded Siri uh, in the future. And actually, they feel perhaps by iOS 26.4 next spring. Are there any comments or questions? Okay. Jeff Pugh shares expected tech specs for the iPhone Fold. I pulled this article because a folding iPhone is kind of an interesting concept, and I I believe that there are some smartphones out there that actually fold at this point, not Apple phones, but and Apple has not been admitting to this, but they've been working very hard on creating this feature. So Jeff Pugh, anybody else heard of him? He's a research analyst, and I had to look it up. He works at GK Securities, um, and he made predictions on the iPhone 18, and so he's shown a lot of the features that you can expect in this new iPhone when it comes out. The hardware details are shown in a chart with the article. Um, there is a decline in global smartphone shipments at this time, but Apple's expecting to increase their share significantly. Um, any comments or questions? Okay. All right. And then in case you've ever doubted it, Apple's car, the Apple car was a real actual thing. And this was revealed by Airbnb. Um, Ahmad Al-Dali, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he was an important technologist working for Apple. Um, he led the autonomous technology group that was developing systems for Apple's self-driving car project. Now, Apple it hasn't exactly denied that it was working on a car, but it has kept it very much under wraps. And Apple went ahead and evidently spent over $1 billion on this project. And I imagine a self-driving car would be a big seller if they were able to pull it off. But in 2024, Apple abandoned the project, all $1 billion of it. Al-Dali mentions that it's not really a big failure because the research and development that this project advanced for Apple is going to contribute to what Apple is providing and can do with future software and hardware. Any comments or questions? All right. So let's move on to this week's videos. Here is the video list. Um, are these now available in the chat?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. And thank you, John, for making that happen. So we have what, about 7 items here, but it comes in under 40 minutes, so it really is doable. If we do have a lot of discussion, we might cut out the last video. But let's get started with the first one. 10 iPhone secrets Apple didn't tell you. Um, The this was of interest to me because the fellow who was providing it I'd never seen before. All I can tell you is his name is Mike, and he uses easy and simple as his platform, or what he calls his platform. So let's get started with Mike.
Your iPhone is capable of so much more than you're actually using. Today I'm showing you 10 hidden in plain sight features that you probably didn't know existed. From live widgets and color-coded passwords to even a secret document scanner, most of these are not new, but they may be new to you. Let's dive in. Let's start with a tool you use every day. You can stop downloading conversion apps and searching Google every time you travel. Your iPhone has a hidden power tool built right into the calculator that handles over 100 currencies with live, near real-time rates. Open your calculator, tap that little icon in the top right corner, and toggle on Convert. Now just type in your US dollars and watch it transform instantly into British pounds or any other currency on the planet. No websites, no extra apps. It's already built into your iPhone. There are also 15 unit categories that cover over 200 individual units and currencies, which you can find by swiping the carousel at the top of the selection menu. And you can return to the basic calculator by tapping the Convert option again. Did you know that this same app also includes math notes? And you can create what-if scenarios for calculations just by typing in your math expression along with the equal sign, then tap the number in the equation that you want to vary, tap the Adjust button, and now you have a slider or scrubber that allows you to drag it left or right to increase or decrease the value. And for you advanced users, iOS 26 now supports interactive 3D graphs that update live as you modify the formula. You also still have the scientific calculator at your fingertips as well. This app is more powerful than you may have realized. Ever wanted to share a friend's phone number without accidentally leaking their entire life story? We've all been there. You want to send Joe's number, but the standard share contact button sends his home address, birthday, even his kids' names. You could manually copy and paste, but that's way too many steps. Instead, next time you're on a message, don't leave the app. Just long press in the text field, tap Autofill, and select Contacts. Find Joe, tap his number, and boom, it drops directly into the text bubble. It's the fastest, cleanest way to share exactly what you want and nothing you don't. No copying, no pasting, no privacy leaks. Sharing phone numbers is easy, but reading passwords can be a struggle, which is why this next high visibility trick is a lifesaver. In the Passwords app, if you long press a password, you can copy it. But if you need to be able to read it with a larger font, select Show in Large Type from the pop-up menu. And now the password is presented to you in a large type with high contrast, using letters, numbers, and symbols all in different colors for readability. This is great for those times when you have no way to copy and paste a password into another device. If these tips are helping you, click that subscribe button. It's free to do. You can actually apply that same clarity to any physical document using this hidden reader mode. It's buried deep inside the magnifier app, and it's a total game changer for menus, documents, or mail. Here's how to unlock it. Open the magnifier app, tap the settings gear at the bottom left, and add capture mode to your controls. Tap the documents icon, hold your phone steady over any page and let it scan. And instead of saving the file, tap the reader button. Instantly, your iPhone strips away the clutter and presents the text into a crystal clear, high contrast view. And best of all, just click the play button at the bottom, and your iPhone will read the entire document aloud to you. Pretty cool, right? Taking the work out of reading is great, but let's take the work out of dialing with the return of a classic feature, T9 Predictive Search. If you remember old flip phones and how you used to text with a keyboard, you'll love this. They call this T9 dialing, short for text on 9 keys. It's a predictive technology originally developed in the late 90s to make typing easier on mobile phones. On iPhones, you can spell a person's name using the number pad in the phone app instead of searching your contact list. To call Ken, you would simply type 536 and the predictive matching will instantly pop it up at the top of the keypad for you to tap and call. That's a lot easier than looking up the contact. I'm sharing this next tip because it was bugging me. Let me know if this is something you use. There are certain iPhone features that Apple sets as default. One of these features is reachability, which allows you to reach the top of the screen when using your iPhone one-handed by swiping down on the bottom edge of the screen. However, when I reached for Spotlight Search or made accidental swipes, this reachability feature would inadvertently trigger. So here's how to turn it off. It's located in Settings under Accessibility, Touch, and Reachability. If you never seem to use this, or if it annoys you like it did me, toggle this feature off. Now let's use 2 fingers to clear out your inbox in record time. This is the fastest way to clean up your inbox. In Mail, Messages, or Notes, instead of tapping Select and then selecting circles one by one, drag 2 fingers down the list of items. It will automatically check every box your fingers pass over. It's a massive time saver for deleting old emails or texts. Did you know you could transform any app into a live widget with a long press? Whether it's fitness, calendar, weather, or notes, if you want to see them at a glance but you don't want to open them up and you don't want to go to the Add Widget menu, just long press any of these Apple icons that supports the widgets. In the menu, you'll see 3 or 4 icons that represent different widget sizes. Tap one and the app icon instantly transforms into a live widget right there where it's sitting. Try this on numerous apps just to see what works best for you. Your home screen looks great, so let's make your files look good by turning entire web pages into perfectly formatted PDFs. When you take a screenshot on a website in Safari, don't just save the visible part. Take the screenshot, tap Full Page, then here's the important step. Click the check mark and select Save PDF to Files. This converts the entire long-form website into a single PDF that you can scroll, mark up, save it to your Files app. Finally, let's take all that iPhone power to your wrist with a custom artistic watch face. Stop using the same boring watch faces as everyone else. You can actually turn any photo on your phone into a one-of-a-kind animated kaleidoscope for your Apple Watch. Just open any photo, hit the share icon, and select Create Watch Face. You can preview it here, choose the kaleidoscope option, and your iPhone uses AI to mirror the colors and shapes of the photo into a stunning, shifting design. I had fun creating several of these recently, and you can do this too. This one, for example, is from a stained glass photo. This one is from a Christmas ornament, and this one is from a drink coaster. It's the easiest way to give your watch a high-end, custom designer look in seconds. Since the weather outside has been frightful for so many, and there's no place to go, you can let it snow with this app Easter egg. This hidden gem is inside the Apple Store app. Type in Let It Snow in the search bar, and during your entire online shopping experience, you'll see it snow across your screen. There you go. 11 things you may not have known before, but now you do. Which ones are new to you? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes. You're very encouraging. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. It's free to do. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay. Any comments?
Very interesting.
I found some interesting stuff there myself.
And
And
the new guy has some new stuff I never heard of.
yeah. And in the middle of all that, I lost my cursor again. I was frantically trying to find it without messing up the show. And so I've plugged a mouse into the computer. Maybe that'll help. Into my MacBook Pro. Anyway, let's move on. Interestingly enough, here is a watch.
Your iPhone and Apple Watch can help you meet your sleep goals and get insight about your sleep. Here's how. First, we'll set up a sleep schedule and choose regular times for going to bed and waking up. Open the Health app. Tap the Search button. And then tap Sleep. If this is the first time you're setting up a sleep schedule, there won't be any data available. To start setting one up, tap Sleep and tap Get Started. A screen appears explaining how sleep tracking can help you learn about your sleep. Tap Continue when you're ready. Next, tap Edit. You can choose different schedules for certain days of the week, or leave some days with no sleep schedule at all. We want to set up a schedule for Monday to Friday, so let's tap Saturday and Sunday to remove them. Now scroll down and adjust bedtime and wake up for this sleep schedule. Drag the ends of the curved slider to your desired times. We'll set bedtime for 9:30 p.m. and wake up for 6:30 a.m. If you want, tap to turn on an alarm for your wake-up time. Scroll down and you can customize the alarm, including its sound and volume, and the snooze duration. Once you're finished setting up your sleep schedule, tap the Done button in the top right corner. Tap Next, and scroll down to review your sleep schedule and settings. When you're ready, tap Done. Now we'll set up a sleep focus to help reduce distractions before and during bedtime. Scroll up, tap Customize Focus, and the Settings app opens. When Sleep Focus is turned on, most notifications are silenced, but you can allow notifications from specific people or apps. First, tap Choose People, and tap Add. Choose a contact, and tap the Done button. Now this contact is able to reach you even when your sleep focus is turned on. Tap Next to confirm. In addition to contacts you specifically allowed, you can also allow calls from everybody, from your favorites, or from all your contacts. Let's tap Done to leave it set to favorites. Now we'll choose which apps can send notifications during sleep focus. Tap Choose Apps, and tap Add. We'll choose the Home app. Tap the search field. Type Home, and tap to select it. When you're finished adding apps, tap Done, and tap Done again to confirm. Scroll down to show more sleep focus options, like customizing your lock screen or home screen and adding a focus filter. Now we'll use Apple Watch to check your sleep score, an overall measure of your sleep quality. To get your sleep score, you must wear your Apple Watch while you sleep, or use another sleep monitoring device that shares data to the Health app. Make sure your Apple Watch is charged at least 30% before going to bed. Your Apple Watch and iPhone must also be updated to the latest software. First, open the Sleep app to view your most recent sleep score. Your sleep score appears around 15 minutes after you wake up and consists of a number and one of a range of possible categories. To get more detailed information, tap the Info button. Scroll down to show your sleep duration, bedtime consistency, and sleep interruptions, which are the 3 factors that make up your sleep score. Scroll farther down for an explanation of how your sleep score is calculated. Tap the Close button to go back. Now, turn the digital crown to show the time spent in each sleep stage and when interruptions occurred, the amount of sleep you got the night before, and your sleep average over the past 14 days. Finally, turn the digital crown once more to show your next sleep schedule. To change your schedule, you can tap the Alarm button. Now you're ready for bed. Build better sleep habits with help from your iPhone and Apple Watch.
Well, any questions or comments? I never worried very much about my sleep, in my youth and my adulthood, middle age. But as I get older, it becomes more important. And I figured that might be so for some of our members here. So at any rate, I hope you enjoyed that particular item. The next video is on how to update the Mac OS for your Mac. I realize that this is something that probably most of us already know how to do, but it's only 2 minutes long, and if we have any new members, maybe this will be helpful. Here we go.
Ready to update macOS on your Mac? Here's how to get the latest features and security enhancements as soon as they're available. Before you start, make sure your Mac is plugged into power and connected to the internet. It's also a good idea to back up your Mac using Time Machine. Now let's get to it. Click the Apple menu in the upper left corner of the screen. Then click System Settings. And click Software Update from General Settings. With automatic updates turned on, your Mac will download and install updates overnight as long as it's plugged into power and connected to the internet. This could include security updates. When you're ready, click Update Now to get any available macOS updates for your device. You might be asked to review and accept the terms and conditions in order to continue. Enter your administrator password, which is the password you use to log into your Mac. Then click OK. During the installation process, an Apple logo and a progress bar might appear on your screen. The installation could take a little while to complete. Some Mac computers might restart or the screen could dim. Make sure to leave your Mac alone while the installation completes. When the update is done, just log back in and continue using your Mac. And that's it. Now you know how to keep macOS up to date. Some sequences in this video were shortened.
Any questions or comments? Okay. The next video is on the standby mode with the iPhone, setting it up and customizing. I haven't paid much attention to the standby mode, but Rich Bolin points out how it can be really very helpful. So here we go.
So I made a video on how to use the iPhone's cool standby mode a while back, and it was really well received. I think it passed 175,000 views. But what I've learned in the YouTube world is that you're never one and done. So today, because this is such a cool iPhone feature, I'm going to show you how to set up standby mode one more time. If you don't know what standby mode is, it's a way to turn your iPhone into an informational display. To activate standby mode, your iPhone must be connected to power and flipped into landscape mode. Pressing the side button to turn your iPhone off will then activate standby mode. Standby mode works on any iPhone with iOS 17 or later, from the iPhone XR and the SE second generation and newer. But if you want that really cool always-on display, you need an iPhone 14 Pro, 15 Pro, or 16 Pro. Apple finally brought the always-on display to the base iPhone 17, which is what I'm using in today's video. I'm also running iOS 26. If you don't have an iPhone with the always-on display capability, you can still use standby mode, but the display will turn off after a short time and require a tap or nudge to reactivate. Okay, with that out of the way, let's jump into the Settings app to make sure your iPhone is ready to go. If you open the Settings app and tap on Standby, you can set the options for how it will function. Be sure, of course, to turn standby mode on, then tap on Display. Here is where you determine how long the screen will stay active. If you choose automatically, the iPhone will determine when the screen will light up and when it will go dark. And I hate that because it always goes dark before I want it to. If you choose after 20 seconds, the screen will turn off after, of course, 20 seconds. I leave this setting on never because I often use my iPhone in standby mode as a status board, and I just want to glance at it whenever I want to, and I don't want the screen to be dark. Plus, when I use the iPhone at night as a bedside clock, I don't want to have to reach over to the nightstand and tap the phone or wave an arm or something like that to activate it. I just want to open my eyes and see the time. I also leave night mode on. When this is activated, the iPhone tints to a dark red color so as not to be so bright at night. So there are 3 types of information you can view on your iPhone in standby mode, namely widgets, photos, and clocks. To view these types, you just swipe right or left. Once you're within one of these 3 categories, you just swipe up or down to view the various options. For example, you can swipe up or down to view different clock styles. But though you're limited to these 3, you can customize them. The widget screen displays 2 different widget stacks side by side, and you can simply swipe through the widgets you have in each stack. To customize a widget stack, just long press on the widget until you enter edit mode. Here you tap the little minus icon beside any widget you want to get rid of. If you want to add a widget to the stack, just tap the little plus icon and choose a new widget. It's very simple. What I like about these widgets is that they are interactive. For example, if I tap on the calendar widget, a little arrow pops up in the corner. If I tap on that arrow, it opens up the calendar app. Super handy. To get back to standby mode, just press the side button again. I use the widget mode most of the time. It turns my iPhone into a little status screen I find so helpful. Standby mode can also turn your iPhone into a digital photo frame, and honestly, that's very nice too. By default, standby mode groups photos into 4 categories: featured, nature, cities, and people. And if that suits you, you're good to go. To view a different category, just swipe up or down. But you're really not limited to just these photo stacks. If you tap and hold on a photo, you'll see a little eye icon. Tapping on this icon will hide that category from view. But the real power here is that you can add any album you have in your photo library by tapping the plus button and choosing an existing album. But here's the thing, once you're in an album, you can't swipe from photo to photo. You have to let standby scroll through the photos for you. Still though, I love having a digital photo frame at my desk. Lastly are the clocks. Again, to view the available clocks, simply swipe up or down. Here though, customization is pretty limited. If you tap and hold on a clock, you'll see a little white circle at the bottom right of the clock. If you tap on that circle, you can change some of the colors of the clock. And that's pretty much it, which is fine. I do like that with the world clock, you can tap any city you've saved in the clock app and see the time of day for that city. That's pretty cool. And like I mentioned before, the clock will turn red and dim itself when the lights are out, like, most bedside clocks. So there you have it, a simple look at how to set up and use standby mode on your iPhone. I hope you found this short video helpful. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Any questions or comments? I have a question myself. Are there any of you out there who are using the standby mode?
Yep.
Okay. Jerry, what do you think of it? How do you use it?
During the day, I use it with the clock and a weather app. During the night, I use it with the clock on the left and telling me which music I'm listening to.
Uh-huh. Great. Yeah.
It's very cool. When you move in bed and you lift up your head, the thing wakes up and shows the time.
Okay. Yeah.
You can now, by the way, you can now do the same thing in CarPlay on your car. In CarPlay, if you swipe all the way to the left, you get to put in two widgets side by side, just like this.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of capability there. Thank you for sharing that, especially the CarPlay options. My wife and I, we have a 2014 Lexus, nice car, but it won't do CarPlay. So if we buy a new car, we'll be sure it's there. Any other questions or comments? Okay. The next video is by Gary Rosenwig of MacMost. He is one of our most frequent video creators that we show here. The title is How to Get a New Line Instead of Sending Text. So when you're creating a text message, if you hit return, it sends the message off. But what if you actually want to keep typing? At any rate, I'll let Gary explain.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how you can type more than one line of text, even when it appears that you can't. So sometimes when you're typing on your Mac or even on an iPhone or iPad, it appears that you can only type one line of text. When you press the return key, it simply submits the text or goes to the next field. For instance, when you're typing a message in the Messages app, sometimes you may want to have more than one line of text in your message. Now, you could just keep typing and keep everything in one long line. But what if you really wanted to have a return or two between lines of text? For instance, say you were typing something like this. Now, your intention is to put the next word on the next line. But when you press return, which is the natural thing to do, it submits the message. So it appears that you can only have one line of text in a message. You can't put a second line because pressing return will send the message. But there is a way to do it. The trick is, instead of pressing return, hold down either the shift key or the option key, and you'll simply add a new line. For instance, here I'll hold shift and press return, and you see how I go to the next line. I can actually insert several blank lines by using shift and return if I like. You can also use option and return. It does the same thing. So you can put as many lines of text as you want in a single message before pressing just return by itself to send it. Now, this trick comes handy in a variety of other situations as well. For instance, here in reminders, I'm going to add a new reminder here. I'm going to type something, and let's say I want to put a second line in the title of this reminder. If I press return, it goes to the next reminder. But instead, if I hold down option and press return, I actually get another line, and I can actually have a reminder with two lines in the title. No, it doesn't work if you do shift and return. So in the case of the Reminders app, option return works, but shift return doesn't. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Here's another example of a place where you can use this. Let's say I'm in the Calendar app. If I were to double click in a day, if I type the name of an event like this, and I press return, it accepts it as the name of the event. But if instead I use option and return, I can actually put another line as the name of the event. Now, it's going to condense that into a single line here in the monthly view, and the same in week view and in day view. But if I were to view it, I could see multiple lines here in the title. And in this case, shift return doesn't work either, only option return. Now, you can use this sometimes in web apps, like, for instance, websites that have communities where you can chat. Very often, pressing return simply sends it like a message. If you want a second line, sometimes it shows you on the website that using either shift return or option return will get you that. For instance, here at Patreon, you can get a second line by holding the shift key down and pressing return. But holding the option key down and pressing return will actually send the message. Now here's another place where this comes in very handy. In numbers, you can have multiple lines of text in a cell. So if I'm typing in the cell, of course I could just type a very long paragraph of text here. But if I want to have, one line and then another line in the same cell, I need to use Option and then Return, and I can have a second line like that. It has to be Option, not Shift. And you can add as many lines as you want in a single cell. Now this even works in formulas. It'll ignore the new lines. So you can have your formulas be a little bit more readable by breaking them up into lines. I just pressed equals there to start a new formula, and I'll start it like this. And let's say I want to put the next part of this formula on a new line. I can do Option Return to go to a new line, and I can then have this next part right here. It's going to ignore that new line there and give me the correct answer. This also comes in handy when you want to have a result that's multiple lines. So for instance here, I can have some text like this in the double quotes, put an ampersand, and then I could have a calculation like that. And then let's say I want to have a second part of the result. Here I can do ampersand again, a double quote, and then Option Return to go to a new line. And that's part of the text inside the double quotes. So now I can continue like this and have a second part like that. And you could see that Option Return is here inside double quote just before the B equals portion. And you can see how it does these two calculations, puts them on separate lines because of the Option Return that I placed right here. So the next time you're in a situation in an app or on a web page where pressing Return seems to send or complete the text entry, try Option Return or Shift Return on your Mac, and then you can have multiple lines of text instead of a single long line. Now, sometimes you need to do this on the iPhone or iPad as well, but it's rarer because the virtual keyboard allows you to have other buttons on the screen. So the Return key can actually act as a new line, and there could be a separate button for Send or Complete. Sometimes this is an upward pointing arrow. But then if you're using a physical keyboard like on an iPad with a Magic Keyboard, the Shift Return or Option Return sometimes works as well. And in a rare case where the Return key does actually send something on an iPhone or iPad, you can tap the Shift key first. And then once that's highlighted, it's a solid up arrow instead of an outline. Then pressing Return will be the same as doing Shift Return. And in some cases, will get you a second line instead of sending the text.
Any questions or comments?
May I say this was worth the price of admission?
I needed that.
Yeah.
It's also handy when you're do a get info on a file and go into the comment area. You can add multiple lines in that little box as well.
Mm-hmm.
He already knows all this stuff. He figured this out.
That's true.
It's. Oh, go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
I
Oh,
didn't
Carol.
quite understand what he was typing into the boxes when he had quotes around some things, and then the next line he didn't have an opening quote.
Well, he
Those
was putting in
formulas.
formulas. Yeah, mathematic formulas. So, and that's something that often if I have a complicated formula, it just stretches out, and this provides other ways of making it work in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
just
know.
didn't understand why he didn't have. I forgot how you do that. It's been a long time since I was in math class, but shouldn't there be like things, the quotes should be around certain things like parentheses, group things.
The extra line was included in the quote.
Oh.
Yeah.
You sure?
Right.
It just,
Thought he
it just
had a
visually
quote.
makes another line. It doesn't break the formula.
Mm-hmm.
Just wants to get it to wrap to another. Instead of making a big long line, you want it to wrap it around. The formula still works the same.
Okay.
Okay. The next video is by Ellen Sweeney on fixing duplicate contacts on your iPhone. If you're like me, you haven't really cleaned up your contacts in a long time and should get to it. But Ellen's going to show us how to do that. And here we go.
Hi, everyone. If we haven't met, I'm Ellen from Ellen's Tips for iOS. In my last video, I showed you how to save phone numbers and share contacts on your iPhone. Today, we're going to fix what often happens after that: duplicate contacts, missing names, and confusing contact photos. If your contacts list feels messy or overwhelming, this video is for you. Contacts don't get messy because you're doing something wrong. It usually happens because you save the same person more than once, someone shares their contact info with you, you add a phone number from an email, or iCloud syncs contacts from more than one account. The good news, your iPhone now has the tools that make cleanup much easier. Let's start with duplicates. The first thing you'll need to do is open the Contacts app. So I'm in the App Library area. I'll tap where it says App Library and I'll search for Contacts. Once I locate Contacts, I'll click on it to open. And what you'll want to do is scroll to the top of your contact list. Look for duplicates found. If your iPhone sees duplicates, you'll see a message that says the number and how many duplicates were found. At this point, we're going to go ahead and tap on View Duplicates. Once I do them, you'll see all of my duplicates that appear, and I can review them one by one, or I can tap Merge All if I'm comfortable with that. So if you're comfortable, when you see the duplicates that appear, go ahead and tap on Merge All. If not, go into a duplicate. I'll go ahead and do that. Once I do, I can say go ahead and merge that duplicate. Your iPhone will combine phone numbers, emails, and information so nothing important is lost. You'll confirm it. I'll say merge. And now that particular contact has been merged with the information that is already on my phone. This is safe to do, and it's one of the easiest ways to clean up your contacts. Another common issue I hear about is the same photo showing up for two different people. Here's how to fix that. Locate the contact that you want to change. So in this case, I'm just going to open the Apple contact. Once you do, you want to tap Edit in the upper right corner and then tap Edit or the photo that's located there. Once you do that, now you have the option to choose a new photo. Each contact has its own photo, so once you fix it here, the confusion should go away. Now let's make sure your contacts stay clean going forward. We're going to want to open the Settings app, tap your name at the top. Now tap on iCloud, and we're going to want to tap on See All next to Save to iCloud. Now we're going to want to locate Contacts and make sure that that toggle next to Contacts has been turned on. This ensures that your contacts stay consistent across your iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Here's an extra tip for seniors. If your contacts are turned on in multiple accounts, and you may want to do that, but if I have contacts turned on in Gmail and iCloud, this can also cause duplicates. Let me show you where you can find this info. So if I tap on the Settings app and I scroll to the very bottom, but make sure that you're on the main settings page. If I scroll to the very bottom and I tap on Apps, Now I'm going to tap on the C on the right-hand side so I can quickly get to the Contacts app. Once I locate Contacts, I'll tap on it to open, and you'll see here Contacts Accounts. Tap on that, and if you have more than one account, check each one. As you can see, I have iCloud Contacts turned on, but I have my Gmail contacts. I have mail turned on, but the contacts are stored in the cloud at Gmail, and I have those turned off. Here are a few easy habits that help keep contacts tidy. When you're adding a new contact number, try adding it to an existing account if possible so that you don't have duplicates. Let your iPhone merge duplicates instead of deleting manually. Review contacts every once in a while, even 5 minutes helps. Use iCloud so everything stays backed up and synced. Think of it like cleaning out a drawer. A little at a time is perfect. Here's a quick recap. Merge duplicate contacts. Fix incorrect contact photos. Check iCloud syncing, and keep things simple going forward. Once your contacts are clean, saving and sharing them becomes much easier. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you missed my previous video on saving and sharing contacts, I'll link it right in the video description below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Okay, any questions?
Yes.
Carol?
I was watching, I grabbed my phone. She went to contacts, and in her phone it said 13 duplicates. On my phone, it doesn't say anything like that. Maybe it's because I don't have duplicates.
That's correct.
That's most likely the reason.
Awesome.
I keep some duplicates on my phone for my other class to show them how to do that stuff. So I knew there were duplicates on there. Mine didn't show any, so I restarted my phone, and now they show up. It's never been an issue with me, but before you say, "Oh, I don't have duplicates," try restarting your phone and see if they show up there.
Okay, I restart my phone every week, but oopsies.
Because I thought, well, okay, I got a new phone, new operating system. Maybe it does it automatically. I couldn't figure it out, but just while she was talking, I said, well, let me restart my phone and see what happens.
Okay.
And sure enough, the duplicates showed up.
Another option is to swipe contacts off the phone. Go to the app switcher and swipe contacts off the phone so that it resets.
Just
Resets the whole app. That's an idea.
It resets the app itself.
That could be. But why would mine go from having 3 sets of duplicates to none? Anyway, also last week she was talking about something about merging contacts, and Jan, I think, was curious about if you had notes on each contact the contact was the same, but the notes were different if you merged them. I did 3 trial runs and it merged the notes also.
Yeah, it does.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One question, Mike. Do you ever swipe the stuff off your phone? Everything is running?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At the bar, the record was, I think, 87 open apps.
Ouch. Wow.
Yeah, because I'd say, do you guys ever do this? And they're going, huh? And so I'd take their phone. I'd say, here, I'm busy. Just start doing this until you can't do it anymore.
There's no need to.
I know. They always say there's no need to, and it's just a way to make your phone faster so you can access them again. But it gave them something to do.
Isn't that the same in effect as restarting the phone?
No.
No, you restart the phone, all those apps are still they'll still all be there the way they were.
Yeah.
You can also double check by looking on your Mac, the contacts in your Mac, and scroll down to the bottom. It should say the same number of contacts on both of them to verify, double check that it's syncing.
Leave the heater on.
That would help.
All right. All right. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow.
Okay, well, there's one more video. This one is by Leo Notenboom, and it's on an unexpected way videos can expose your location. And I was kind of surprised at what he shares on this. So if there's some ne'er-do-well who is wanting to track somebody, it's interesting how much information they can get. Let me go ahead and play it, and we can talk about it if people want.
The surprising ways your videos can leak your location. He's Jose Monkey, and he finds people who ask to be found. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for AskLeo.com. A little while ago, I ran across an interesting TikTok channel, of all places, by a fellow named Jose Monkey. What Jose Monkey does is very, very interesting. I found it fascinating for two separate reasons. One is that it's a very important object lesson for all of us, especially our kids. And the other is, it's really cool what he does and how he goes about doing it. What does he do? Well, he finds people who ask to be found. He encourages people to take a short video of themselves or of a location and ask him specifically in the video, Jose Monkey, find me. And about 80% of the time, he does. It's fascinating how little information he actually needs to be able to pinpoint somebody's location. And by pinpoint, I really do mean he will typically end up with his video saying, and you were standing here, in multiple places around the United States and even internationally. So what kind of information does he use? Well, some of the ones that I've seen include landmarks and physical characteristics of the location, of course, buildings and other structures that appear, however briefly, in the video. The OpenStreetMap database is actually an interesting source of information for him because he can draw a lot of queries based on what he sees. He might say, okay, I need to know all the different locations where a Target store is within 150 feet of a Starbucks, those kinds of things. Google Earth, to, again, get a very good picture, often very similar to the video that was submitted by a user. License plates, of all things, of any vehicles in the video, because that can, of course, help him narrow down at least the state where the video was taken. And even the accent of the person recording the video, which I find absolutely fascinating. Again, it's not 100%, but it can be a clue that helps him at least begin to narrow down the range of possibilities. The neat thing about his approach is he doesn't just say, you were here. He actually step by step walks through the process that he went through to identify the location. Sometimes it's 15 or 20 minutes. Sometimes it's several hours. Sometimes it's like a day's worth of work that he has to set aside for a while and come back to with a fresh mind. He actually manages to essentially geolocate on his own. So why do I bring this all up? Well, like I said, it's very educational. It's very interesting to actually watch this kind of stuff happen. But more than anything else, and I think this is one of the reasons he does it, it is a cautionary tale to all of us in the sense that we are constantly leaking information about who we are and what we do, and specifically where we are. Whenever we take a photograph or a video or a selfie, this is very important, I think, for some of our younger crowd to understand that the information that they take, the pictures that they take, the videos that they take, the selfies that they take, they're leaking a lot more information than they might think. It's one of those scenarios where if it's been captured digitally, it can be shared potentially with the world. Now, I have to point out, this isn't a huge scare. I'm not trying to scare anybody. The important thing here is to understand, that it could happen. This is not a trivial piece of work. What Jose Monkey is doing is anywhere between 15 minutes to several days worth of work to locate a specific video location. In some situations, it might be the case where, yeah, to somebody, you could be that interesting. And the information that you've accidentally leaked without even realizing it could be enough for them to find out not just where you are, that's the example here, but a ton of other information about who you are, where you are, what you do, and more. I do believe that most of us don't need to be terribly concerned about this. However, I do think all of us need to be aware of this and understand that the possibility exists. My recommendation is that you share this information with the people whom you think might be the most vulnerable, who might be the most interesting, who might be the most, I'll say, ignorant of the kinds of things that they might be leaking by accident. It is something very important in our very visual, very connected, and very public world. For updates, for comments, for links, including a link to the full Jose Monkey TikTok channel, visit askleo.com/167448. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is AskLeo.com. Thanks for watching.
Any comments or questions?
Yeah, I wonder if law enforcement uses that.
Of course they do.
I went ahead and Googled Jose Monkey and actually saw a couple of his finds because he has, I don't know if he posts all of them, but there was stuff posted, and it's interesting, how he goes about and does it. Anything else? Okay, well, I'm going to stop the share and we'll get into our question and answer period.
Okay, any other questions related to any of the presentations before we move to the general Q&A, that's last chance? Okay, well, I'll start a new video. The DVMUG members or anybody watching this on the YouTube can find the next recording of the general Q&A is not public, and you can get that link on the DVMUG BBS. Stop the recording. How do I do that? Stop recording.